Welcome everybody to the Sheffield United Way match preview as we are looking ahead to the middle game of yet another busy week as Sheffield United visit Swansea City on Tuesday night at a 7:45 kickoff. Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole. Yes, welcome everybody to this match preview. And of course, we are looking ahead to this game against Swansea. But let's start off by looking back a little bit. Now, I will preface this video by saying it is being recorded at 2:30 on Sunday afternoon. And therefore, if there are signings, changes, things feel a little bit live at the moment, but they won't be referenced in this video beyond me giving a few nods and winks to see whether or not something might change in terms of squad, in terms of score prediction. But I am doing this before any signings or any other movement has been made. So let's reflect on that last performance. That was a 2-0 home win against Norwich City. And to be honest, with the squad available, with the number of players we got missing, with the fact that we hadn't got any signings through the door, and then looking at the performance and the amount of control and comfort with which United had won this game, that's up there as one of the performances of the season for me. It saw United return back into the top two, back into the automatic promotion places, taking advantage of Burnley's draw with Sunderland on Friday night. Now, in terms of individuals, I thought Anel and Robinson were fantastic. I thought defensively, we were so strong, so solid, and we didn't give Norwich anything at all. I still have some concerns there, but it's great to see that partnership. And I think it was probably the best that we have seen those two play together in a back four. So hopefully that's something that will continue. I also just wanted to shout out 𝗍𝗍, who I think has grown into this season fantastically and really does look like a star at championship level now. As for Swansea, their weekend was a little bit less successful, shall we say. They went to their arch rivals Cardiff and were handed a 3-0 defeat. And by all accounts, it was a pretty pathetic performance from Swansea and obviously a massively devastating result. So they'll be looking to bounce back. They'll want to try something a little bit different, I think. They'll certainly not accept another performance like that, surely, coming after the weekend. Now, of course, the way that they play, we know what that's going to look like. It's going to be very slow. It's going to be patient. It's going to be passing football for the sake of passing the football. And I think that's actually going to really suit United. I think we had the perfect build-up because Norwich tried that. Every goal kick, every time they got the ball, they were really slow, really patient, passing it around their defence. And United just counteracted that perfectly. We had a perfectly set press. We knew when to go and challenge those defenders. We knew when to make it difficult for them. And I thought the midfield of 𝗍𝗍 and 𝗍𝗍 really knew when to stop the central midfielder from being able to drop in. So we had the perfect blueprint. Just do the same again. If we can play this game and set up our attacking line the exact same way that we did against Norwich, I think it'll be a very successful evening for United. So fingers crossed, and let's hope that we have learned all of those lessons from Norwich and can go again and do exactly the same kind of performance. Now, before we move forward and we get into our team news, first of all, let me thank our video sponsors, Panenka Bar and Grill. Now, Panenka is a fantastic bar situated perfectly near Bramall Lane. If you want to watch any of the games on this midweek on Tuesday night, you can go into Panenka. They have multiple screens where you can watch any of the big games that you want to see. I really do think that Panenka is one of the best bars in Sheffield, and so it is our pre-match designated drinking establishment. We also sometimes like to call in post-match, and it can be our post-match drinking establishment as well. So we hope to see you in there before all of United's home games, but especially when United are playing away, this is a perfect place to get together with your friends, to go out there and watch the game and have a great time supporting the Blades. So do please go and check out Panenka Bar and Grill. You will find it at the entrance to 𝗬𝗍 Square, just 5 minutes away from Bramall Lane. Now, as I say, I am recording this Sunday afternoon and no new signings have been announced. However, that doesn't mean we can't be slightly confident that some of these might be taking place. Ben Brereton Diaz was seen at Bramall Lane on Saturday. We are also hearing reports from newspapers this morning that the deal for Tom Cannon is almost agreed and that his contract is almost done and signed. So we can't put them in the squad, but hopefully they will be able to be a part of this game. You will know more than I am if you are watching this on Monday, I am sure. Now, there were also some concerning things that happened on Saturday. Wilder did not confirm in his post-game press conference how bad the injuries to McCallum and in particular to Tom Davies were, but I think they would be huge losses. They were both taken off after receiving knocks. McCallum's looked okay. He came around, was clapping the fans at full time, but Tom Davies wasn't seen after he'd gone off down the tunnel. So fingers crossed, they're not too bad. In terms of players coming back, obviously we saw 𝗍𝗫𝗍 and Campbell both make their return from the bench against Norwich, but we did not see anything from 𝗍𝗲𝗍 or 𝗤𝗍𝗄𝗎, albeit that 𝗬𝗏𝗏 has said they are very close to a return. It seems unlikely that any of those four are going to be fit to start on Tuesday, but I am hoping to be proved wrong because with the injury to Davies in particular, we're looking a little bit thin on the ground. Andre Brooks missed a game on Saturday with illness, and 𝗤𝗏𝗏 has been reported needs surgery, and there was even a suggestion that that surgery has been booked in for this week. So I think it's very unlikely we see 𝗤𝗏𝗏, but I'm hoping that Andre Brooks might have recovered to be able to be part of the team. So, looking at my predicted starting 11, the back four picks itself. This bit was easy. I think it will be Michael Cooper in goal, 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗏, 𝗚𝗏, Jack Robinson, Harrison Burrows. That's a very easy, very straightforward, very strong defence, but it's in front of them that it starts to get a little bit complicated because I don't know who's going to be fit or who's going to be available. As I understand it, in terms of players I know are definitely fit to play in this game, I think we have to go with a central midfield two of 𝗍𝗫𝗍 alongside 𝗍𝗏𝗏. I think he's going to have to drop back into that position because without Tom Davies, I don't believe we've got any other options who can come in and play alongside 𝗍, which means quite a few changes to that front three. McCallum also went off injured, who had taken up one of those roles against Norwich. So I am praying that Andre Brooks is fit. I am predicting he will be back in the side because if he isn't, I am genuinely struggling to find 11 players to fill out this squad. Callum O'Hare will continue in his role. We know that, and he was excellent against Norwich. So look forward to seeing him continue. I'm predicting Rhian Brewster will be moved out to the left wing to fill that other side because, again, unless one of the signings comes in and is fit to start on the left wing, I think that's the only options that we've got in terms of being able to take this forward. That, of course, means also a change at centre-forward where I think Ryan One will have to step in unless we decide that Tyrese Campbell is fit enough to start this game. As you can tell, I'm quite uncomfortable, particularly with that attacking four, because it's a lot of changes and it's a lot of players who we just don't know if they're going to be able to play. Hopefully, there will be a signing or we will see 𝗍𝗫𝗍, 𝗍𝗏𝗍 or Campbell fit to start this game. It would be massive if they are able to, because as I say, there's been a lot of sort of tweaks and changes there that I'm not 100% pleased with. But that's what I think is going to be United's starting 11. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think, actually, he's got that wrong. These players are going to be fit. They are going to be in the team. Brereton Diaz will be through the door in enough time to start this game. I want to hear from you and what you think. If that is the starting 11, how do you think this game is going to play out? Now, for our opposition team news, I have a really good friend who's a massive Swansea fan, Alex. Love to give him a massive shout out. And I've been talking to him a little bit about Swansea's setup for this game. Unfortunately, wasn't able to record a video contribution, but he has helped me out in pulling together a little bit of information about Swansea's season so far. So, Swansea currently sit 13th, and I think they are the most mid-table team currently playing in the Championship. They are 7 points away from the playoffs and 8 points away from relegation. So it's very unlikely they're going to be leaving the division out of either door this season. They line up in a 4-3-3, and as we've already referred to, they play the Swansea way, which is very slow, patient, passing football. They look to try and build right from the back. They want Matt Grimes to be the central pivot so they can play through the defence into Grimes. He's then going to try and hit the wings. Ronald has been a particular star for them this season. He's got 6 assists as well as contributing goals. And so he's the danger man that we have to look out for coming down the right wing. Now, the predicted lineup is going to look something like Lawrence Vigouroux in goal. Now, he has had a fantastic season so far, been receiving rave reviews from the Swansea fans for his fantastic shot stopping and the way that he has really kept them in games when they have been struggling defensively. So he's one to watch out for. I think he could have another good game here, particularly if Swansea are going to get a result. The back four looks like it'll be consistent. Josh Key, Ben Cabango, Harry Darling. Now, there are some suggestions that Harry Darling may be leaving the club. There's some suggestion he's not looking to sign a new contract in the summer, but it seems unlikely he won't be picked and won't be starting whenever he's available to play for Swansea. The left-back Josh Tymon, who scored a very memorable own goal to give United a 1-0 win at Bramall Lane. In terms of their midfield three, I would expect it to be Matt Grimes, who is widely accepted to be their key man and best player, alongside Portuguese Gonçalo Franco, and he will be playing with Liam Cullen. Liam Cullen is there most likely to be trying to play forward and to be driving through from midfield. As referenced on the wings, it will be Ronald down the right, who's been their key creative force, but on the left, it's a little bit more difficult, but we would expect South Korean Eon to continue playing in that role. And then up front, it will probably be 𝗏𝗏𝗏. He's their top scorer this season, but he's not got many goals, and after a disastrous result at the weekend, who knows whether they might be looking to make a lot more changes to try and tear this team apart a little bit, to try and come at United and learn the lessons from what happened against Cardiff. So thank you very much to Alex for his thoughts, for his comments, for helping me out in pulling this together. It's always great to hear from a Swansea fan to try and help us out in pulling these opposition views together where we can. Now, the referee, and the referee for this one is Dean Whitestone. And being honest, I've never heard of him. He's not a name that I recognise, and I think that's probably a good thing, because I usually only remember the bad ones. He's taken charge of 15 games this season so far. He's given 54 yellow cards, but no reds and no penalties. So it's pretty clear that he doesn't like making any of those big decisions that might affect the game. Now, I was shocked to learn he has actually reffed United 7 times, and we have an unbelievable record when he is our referee. We have won 6 of those 7 games and only lost once. That brings us into our player connections. Now, our player connections are brought to you by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is a virtual band, and many of their members are huge Sheffield United fans. So please do go and check out 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.com. Their latest album is called Tall Tales of 10 Girls, and it is fantastic. So please do go and check that out. Now, we're always looking for 4 players who have played for both, and this was an interesting one because I've gone through the 4 players that I looked to pick, and all of them were a hell of a lot better for Swansea than they ever were for Sheffield United. Leon Britton is an absolute club legend at Swansea. He played 436 appearances for them, the majority of those coming in the Premier League in very successful sides, including the team that won the League Cup in 2013. His time at United was really disappointing. The only memorable thing I can say about Leon Britton's time with United is that in pre-season, I bumped into him in KFC after United had lost a pre-season friendly to somebody down in non-league. I said, Leon, what's happening this season? What's gone wrong? And he said, and I quote, I don't quote fully, we are rubbish, was the indication that came out of his mouth. And it proved to be the case as United were later relegated from the Championship in that season. Nathan Dyer is the second player, and again, a lot more success in Wales than he had in Sheffield. He made 298 appearances for Swansea, and he scored in that League Cup victory back in 2013. He only spent a loan spell at United, where he scored 1 goal in 7 games. But of course, again, he does have a big memory at Bramall Lane, as he was a key man in the infamous squad sort of goal celebration that they did, where they sat on the advertising board and they had a photographer pretend to take a photo. And yeah, that's about as memorable as it gets. And I am scraping the barrel. So continuing our theme of players who were great for Swansea and have so far been poor, shall we say, for Sheffield United. Ryan Brewster, the Brewdog himself. He scored 10 goals in 20 games for Swansea back in 2020. That was his breakout season in the Championship. And that, I think, was a key driver behind United's decision to spend a club record fee bringing him to Bramall Lane. Of course, 10 goals in 20 games for Swansea. So far, he's got 6 goals in 101 games for Sheffield United. So maybe if he stays till the end of the season and it's not going out on loan as is rumoured, he might finally match his goal tally for Swansea in the red and white. Now, finally, we come to a player who I would say at last did have a good career for Sheffield United, albeit his goal record is slightly better for Swansea, and that is Ole McBurney. He got 22 goals in 58 games for Swansea and 26 in 146 for the Blades. However, we have to bear in mind that the majority of those games came in the Premier League in very struggling Sheffield United teams, if we are being honest. He also had a very good season where United won promotion from the Championship last time and more than paid back the transfer fee that we paid for him, to the point that I think most United fans would be more than happy if we could bring Ole McBurney back on loan in this January. So they're the 4 that immediately came to mind for me. Shout out in the comments, who would you have been talking about? Who are the big players who played for both in your mind? Let me know, because I always forget some of the really good ones. And can you actually just tell me who was really good for United and bad for Swansea? Because I'm fed up of all these players being better for other teams. So tell me who was great at the Lane and who was rubbish when they went across to Wales. Now, finally, we come to our score predictions. And if you would like your score prediction to be shared as part of this video and to receive a whole host of other benefits, including access to the Sheffield United Way WhatsApp group where we're all talking about Sheffield United, particularly in a very busy and exciting January, please go across to patreon.com/Sheffield United Way, because it really helps us to continue running the channel and doing what we do. Now, what do they actually know about football? Well, Chris, Paul and James are very confident ahead of this one midweek. They think it's going to be a 3-0 Sheffield United win. And Stephen Lewis, they're all just as, well, not quite just as confident. They're very confident, but they think it's going to be 3-1. They're predicting that we are going to let a goal in this one, as we have done a lot in our recent away games. Maury and Ray have both gone for a 2-1 United win, while Nick, Adam and Hal all think that it will be 1-0. Hal pulling a rabbit out the hat and predicting a very rare goal for 𝗣𝗿𝗲𝗍, while Nick thinks that 𝗫𝗏𝗏 will mark his return by getting another goal for the Blades and firing himself forward as our top scorer for the season. Now, for me, I do think we'll win. I'm going to go with the feeling of that Patreon group. I'm going to say it'll be 2-1. I think we will play like we did against Norwich. I think we'll get that press right. We'll cause a lot of problems for their defence, and that'll allow us to get those goals that we need to win this game. But let me know in the comments, what do you think? How do you think this game's going to play? And what do you think the score prediction will be? And there we go, Blades. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this match preview. Hopefully, there will be signings and excitement through the door before this game does take place. But as it stands, we are Sheffield United. We are second in the league and hopefully on track for automatic promotion. Up the Blades. 𝗚𝗿𝗲𝗍